Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm Lynn with Plasma Energy Solution, and today is July 24th, 2020, and our website is plasmaenergysolution.com. I hope you'll go to the site and take a look at the many videos, articles, products we have available for you. There are FAQs, frequently asked questions, and a lot of testimonials from people. So I do hope you'll take a look at those. And speaking of testimonials, I want to share something really nice with you that I got the other day. I worked for a couple of years, I think it was years 3 and 4 of the Knowledge Seeker workshops. And because Dr. Paul had a hard time understanding the accent of the scientist who was presenting the information, I just said, well, no problem, I'll just transcribe the class each week. Well, little did I know that because of so many foreign accents and having to go back and forth to stop and go with the YouTube, I'd play it, I'd type, I'd replay it. Did I hear that right? Sometimes I replay it again. I didn't understand that word. So it ended up that these 4-hour workshops took me about 30 hours a week to transcribe, because it was about 10 minutes of video playing for an hour of transcription. And the first time I tried to figure that out, I went, oh, no way, that can't possibly be. Well, afraid it was. So anyway, what I would do is, after I had transcribed what I would call not the final draft, I would send it to a doctor in New Zealand, and he would do the final transcribing. And that was really nice, because sometimes if I listened to a word 10 times and still couldn't make it out, then I'd highlight like that in the notes, and he would also listen. So we both had ears on it to make sure we got it right, okay? And so then he would also add hyperlinks and everything like that. It was really, it was a great team effort. And then we sent them to another man in Canada who had them on his website. Well, unfortunately, those have been taken down at the request of the scientist, because he says those are not my exact words. And he's totally right about that. Sometimes when people are speaking English as a second language, the structure of language in their native language is different than English. And so if you've ever noticed that, they may place the descriptions and the phrases in wrong order for English speakers. So that was basically what I was doing, was changing the order so that it was easy to understand for the English speakers. So anyway, this was from my teammate doctor down, Cornelius Van Dorp, down in New Zealand, and this is what he had to write. And this was on a Facebook page. So I said, this is from Cornelius Van Dorp, who is an emergency physician in New Zealand. Lynn and Cornelius worked together for a couple of years when Lynn would send her workshop transcripts to Cornelius, and he would edit by adding links and screenshots. For some time, these were available on a website in Canada. And then what I've already said. And so here's what Cornelius wrote. 3 years ago, in the new year of 2017, I got incredibly fit by my standards, to where in following the Kesh medical class, especially some of the learning about fasting, I was eating very little, got down to my lean mean weight of 77 kilograms, and was running to the top of the mountain every second day, doing 33 Tibetan rites daily, and even got down to living out on a few sips of the food plasma sent by my favorite transcriber, Lynn Schmaltz, and her veterinarian husband, Paul, in Montana, for a few days running up the mountain every day. It was and what he means by a few days was the fasting that he was doing and just utilizing the plasma energy water. It was a timely mention of Lynn of Montana, who did the vast majority of the note-taking and transcriptions for the years 3 and 4 transmissions, as she got in touch last week for the first time for about a year. And I found that her husband Paul had passed on in December 2019. Lynn has now recovered from her loss and honoring the memory of her loving and loyal husband through working with the GANs as they made together and sharing them with people on her website, plasmaenergysolution.com. Before he passed on to the next world, this beautiful, humble genius made many interesting video talks about his experiences with the GANs, and these are worth listening to in his attractive American drawl. So click on the picture below if anyone wants to be inspired by this humble but great researcher and doctor. May you have many magnificent adventures as you soar like a great bird in the realms of God, Dr. Paul. That was awesome. I just loved hearing that from Cornelius. And I thought I would also share something. I get pictures a lot from Wendy, who's here in Montana, and these may not do justice, but she has just absolutely gorgeous flower gardens, and she uses the plasma energy on her flowers, and she's very artistic, so she always has a very interesting mix of plants. And want to make sure those are upside right. Yeah, I think I had them upside down. There we go. She always has an interesting mix of plants. And so I just wanted to share those with you because I usually will also put this on the testimonial page. And I've had others who sent me pictures of their flowers. I had one individual who shared the pictures of her very long-lasting orchid one year. She said the blooms usually last for about 6 weeks, and in this case the blooms lasted from early May until September, and she was using the plasma energy station water on it. So I want to share one other thing with you. And this was how Dr. Paul's notes on how you make GANs. Making organic GANs is a simple process. 1, take the herbs and put them in a quart mason jar. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that we often make combinations for people, and especially when you go into our healthy series, healthy pancreas, detox, lung support, life force, Lyme relief. Those are just several of the combinations that we put together. Healthy joints and skin is another one. Healthy collagen is another one. And this is when we're making the organic GANs. So first, take the herbs and whatever you're using and put them in a quart mason jar. 2, put a 1/2 inch of the herbs in the bottom of that jar and mix in lye, which is sodium hydroxide that you can get. It's a caustic that you can get at the hardware store, usually in the plumbing division. Stir it with a little stick and pour as you pour in the sodium hydroxide. And as you're doing this, you want to wear goggles, you want to wear a mask, you want to wear some protective gloves, because you will get some fumes when you add the water to it. So then you go to the faucet. Now he would just use tap water, and he said, because you're going to throw out this water that you're using to make the GANs, it's all going to be rinsed out of there after the whole GANs making process has been done. And I will say that we have really nice water here because we're at the base of the mountains here in Montana. So we may be talking about an entirely different quality of water that many of you are experiencing. I fill up the jar to the shoulder of the jar. Excuse me. Screw on the lid and then shake it well. If it is clumped, take a stick and stir it so that it is loose and free-flowing. And oftentimes this will clump up. And also something to note is you want to shake it quickly and then set it down, because the jar will become very hot from the action of the lye on the herbs and things that you put in there. Stir it really well and let it sit. Then once a day, go in and shake it up. Always wear plastic gloves, as you may get little spots splashing on your skin, and it will itch later. So you really want to be careful about that. Question: how much lye do you put in the quart jar? Answer: the same amount of lye as you use for the herbs. So sometimes when formulas are taking a long time, people have sent me a lot of herbs and essential oils and different things to combine. And so instead of just an inch in the bottom of a jar, I may start out with this much. Well, it's going to take that much of the lye then, and it's going to take longer to break it all down. If there's half an inch of herbs, there's half an inch of the lye. How long do you do this? Paul says for 6 or 7 days. I find the process is not complete, and I let mine run 3 to 4 weeks. Here's how I know when it is ready. I use my dowsing rods. And he was very big on using the dowsing rods. He was very big on intention, and we both were very mindful of the intention that goes in when we're making the products and the outcome we wish for those products to do for you. And when you receive those products, you also want to put your intention on them as to how they're facilitating good changes and good support in your body. All right, so then there was a question about the dowsing rods. Paul nano-coated 10-gauge copper wire in the crock pot. He bent down the dowsing rod shape and put it in PVC pipe as a holder. I should have had a pair of them right here, but they're L-shaped, so you're holding the PVC pipe and the short end of the L is in your hands and the long end of the rod is out. And so as you're utilizing the rods, in my case, when I'm looking for a yes, my rods will move this way, and my hands don't move, the rods move. And sometimes they move this way. When it's a no, they always move this way. Now, it may be different for different people, so I'm just telling you how it was for Dr. Paul and I. And Organic GANS, Paul also said, sometimes everything will dissolve and there's nothing left in the bottom of the jar and it's all in solution. So then, in that case, you're going to have to add something, and we'll add stems or roots from South American herbs, or there's another one we use called Osha bear root. Depending on what it is, sometimes I'm using mistletoe from cedar trees that we collected some time ago when we were down in New Mexico. And a lot of times you can get these herbs and stems and roots if you'll do an internet search. And I think that was all the questions that there were on there. So that's just a real brief overview on how to do the Organic GANS. And do look on the website or on YouTube on our channels, Plasma Energy Solution, or it's Plasma Energy Solutions with an S, but you can also find it under Lynn Schmaltz, and you can find another channel under Schmaltz Patricia Lynn. So, and then we always try to link the video or videos that we have done to a particular product that we've talked about. And a lot of times I'll throw in testimonials with things, so every topic that's on the video may not show up in the title, just so you will know that. And speaking of intention, I once again would like to share the intention that Dr. Paul and I did, and this is called our intention and our invitation. All plasma energy that originated from Paul and Lynn's efforts joins every other bit of plasma energy that originated from Paul and Lynn's efforts, wherever that plasma energy is in the world, on the land, in the waters of the rivers, lakes, and ocean, in the air, and in the clouds above. All that plasma energy brings Paul and Lynn's intention everywhere on, above, around, and below the surface of planet Earth, that all living beings are filled with love, peace, joy, freedom, prosperity, well-being, and abundance, with the ethics and morality to support that love, peace, joy, freedom, prosperity, well-being, and abundance of all living beings on planet Earth, including the living being, our home, planet Earth. All of like intentions are invited to join. And I think it's really important at this time, when we have a lot of confusion in our society, there's a lot of hatred in our society, people are angry, people are depressed. Use your plasma energy and use it with intention, because it's not only going to sit here in your home. Why can't it join every other drop of plasma energy that ever left here and spread that around the world? Masaru Emoto talked a lot about intention in his messages from the waters. And if you haven't ever seen that, go look him up, Masaru Emoto. He was a Japanese scientist, and he did fabulous work with intention that he would place on jars of water, and then he would take some of the water and freeze it and look through it through the microscope. And he photographed it because those intentions that were of a loving nature, the water looked like beautiful snowflakes. Those intentions that may have said, I hate you, or anger, or something like that, all there was a dark blob. So realize that there's many levels to the lives that we're living right now, and not all of them are visible. So I hope you'll have a good rest of your July. Thank you for joining me. Again, it's plasmaenergysolution.com. Those of you who took the time to watch this video, if there's something you want to order and you've been waiting to do so, use the word plasma as a coupon word when you check out, and you'll get 15% off. And you're only going to know that if you watch this video. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your July. And I'll see you here again. Give me a thumbs up and share this with others if you've enjoyed this video. Thanks.